Good evening, everyone. I am the Barangoat, and welcome to Robot Wars Reborn Cup Season 2. Tonight is Heat I. That is the penultimate heat for our tournament. That means there's only 16 bots, if you haven't seen yet this year. 16 bots, 8 are going to be tonight, and between those 8 bots, each of them can only fight for one of the remaining automatic spots into the series semifinal. Of course, there's still 2 wildcard spots that are up for grabs. Somebody's got to win them, somebody's got to lose them. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty in this tournament. It's time to get Heat I started, but first let me introduce you to our fight commentator, BattleBots Boy, also known as Rich. Rich, how are you doing today? You excited to see these fights? Rich? You awake? Hey, Rich!
What? Oh, God. Oh, let's fire up round 1. Boy, talk about a rude awakening, Nick. Anyway, speaking of rude awakening, we got the number 6 seed Typhoon II here to give a rude awakening to Atomic. Exterminator is back, looking to take the sting out of Stinger, and Mortis is hoping to do the exact same thing to Jellyfish. But up first, we got PP3D, the successor to Typhoon II, up against Kilohertz's younger, nastier brother, Terahertz.
From Aberdeenshire, PP3D.
New to the Robot Wars Reborn Cup, PP3D, whose name stands for Parts Printed in 3D, got that deadly undercutter spinning disc and the ability to run either way up. But he's got to take care of those exposed wheels and the exposed weapon motors, because if any of those come off, then he could be in big trouble.
From Oxford, Terahertz.
Terahertz is here ready to terrorize the competition with that double-headed axe that is capable of inflicting some major damage. But because the axe itself is heavy, it could be difficult for him to fire that weapon, which could make it all the more challenging for him to right himself. If he can, that is.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
So we begin Heat I with the axe against the spinner. And Terahertz's axe could be the ideal weapon to taking out the weapon motor of PP3D, as both bots got a bit of a glancing blow off of each other. Terahertz coming in with the axe and misses. PP3D scoring a couple of shots of his own with that spinner, chipping away at the body of Terahertz, who swings and misses. PP3D sort of dancing on the pit, and Terahertz gets a nice chop there on the top of PP3D. PP3D got a lot of surface area for Terahertz to score some direct hits with that axe. PP3D got that weapon up to full speed and goes in on the attack and gets a nice little hit there, popping Terahertz up in the air a bit. And Terahertz scores another hit near the wheel of PP3D and drives over the flame jet, and so does PP3D. Now, why would they do that? Fire's bad, you know. Both robots siding each other up as Terahertz score more hits with that axe. PP3D starting to chip away on the side of Terahertz as Terahertz scores another hit on the weapon motor of PP3D, and the disc comes right off after this initial attack by Terahertz, after he scores a couple of direct hits on the weapon motor of PP3D. And that is it for the spinner. PP3D is now absolutely weaponless as Terahertz goes in for another attack, and what the hell happened there? Both robots got turned over somehow. Terahertz able to right himself with the axe. PP3D now inverted and on the run, looking to go for the pit release, and he does. Terahertz has him pinned against the wall and scores more hits with the axe. PP3D is in major peril. He's got to avoid taking more damage from Terahertz if he wants to stay in the match. Terahertz looking to finish off Typhoon II's younger brother, and PP3D is trying to lure Terahertz toward the pit, but he got to be careful not to go in the pit himself, and Terahertz got PP3D toward the edge of oblivion as he continued chopping away at his opponent, but PP3D drives into the pit himself, saying, "That's enough, I am done." Terahertz landing the last few hits on PP3D before he ends the fight and his own life. Terahertz is through to the next round. And that'll do it for PP3D. He is out of the contest, and all he can do now is cheer on for his brother Typhoon II, who will be fighting later on tonight. But for right now, though, we have Mortis entering the arena with Jellyfish.
From Cambridge University, Mortis.
Mortis is back after going out in round 1 to can opener last season, and he just recently fought in the BattleBots Reborn Cup. He's got that flipper and axe weapon combo that's pretty deadly, but also pretty weak. Let's see how long they'll last in this match.
From Antrim, Northern Ireland, Jellyfish.
We welcome the Portuguese bot of war named Jellyfish with a pretty unique weaponry, that being that dustpan trapper at the front. But as unique as it isn't really all that effective. Here's hoping he'll be as deadly as a sea nettle in this battle.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
Mortis hasn't had a lot of luck in both the Robot Wars Reborn Cup and the BattleBots Reborn Cup. Let's see if he can improve on that tonight, as Mortis gets underneath Jellyfish with the lifting arm and goes in for a few swings with the axe. Jellyfish grabbing a hold of the axe with his weapon, but only for a moment, as Mortis is now gouging the eye of Jellyfish. Mortis getting underneath his opponent and landing a few direct hits with the axe, and he's now going for the other eye at Jellyfish. Ay caramba! Mortis got Jellyfish pinned up against the wall, but now he has to catch and release Jellyfish, as you can only hold your opponent for the maximum 10 seconds before you let go. Mortis now pushing Jellyfish toward the CPZ, firing both the flipper and the axe, as Jellyfish is trying to grab a hold of Mortis. Mortis appeared to be a bit too big for Jellyfish's unique weaponry. Jellyfish got a grip of Mortis's corner as Mortis goes for the pit release button. Jellyfish now squeezing Mortis's face as Mortis is trying to get underneath Jellyfish. You got him over the flame jet. Mortis with a swing and a miss, and again with both the axe and the lifter. Jellyfish drives up the wedge of Mortis again. That's poor control there by Jellyfish. That's going to count against him as Mortis gets under Jellyfish with the lifter and lift him up as he swings with the axe, getting a few more hits between the eyes of Jellyfish, and the axe is broken off. No more of that. Jellyfish grabbing a hold of Mortis's axe, and he cleaves it right off. Mortis is now with only the flipper, as Jellyfish is trying to push Mortis toward the arena flipper, but Mortis able to slip out of it. Jellyfish now got Mortis caught between a rock and a hard place, as Mortis is trying desperately to get underneath his opponent. He fires with the flipper and misses. Jellyfish doing a lot of damage. Well, both robots were doing a lot of damage to each other, but it's Jellyfish who got the lead in damage here after taking off the axe of Mortis. Mortis now underneath Jellyfish, and he turns him over with the lifter. Jellyfish is able to run either way up. Mortis scoring a nice flip there with that lifting arm, overturning his opponent, as Jellyfish is now going to have a bit of a hard time getting in with that grabber on Mortis. He's able to grab Mortis there, but Mortis is able to wriggle his way out of it. Mortis lifting up Jellyfish. He got to be careful though. If Jellyfish gets a hold of that lifter, he could take off Mortis's other weapon, and Mortis could be in grave danger. Jellyfish inching closer toward the pit, but now he's getting away from there. And now he got Mortis lined up toward the pit. Can he pull off an upset and dunk the War of Independence winner from Robot Wars Series 4? We are winding down the closing seconds of this match as Mortis gets another flip in with the lifter. Oh, Jellyfish gets underneath Mortis and holds him over the drop zone, but Mortis saved by the bell, and it goes to the judges. So the judges will be marking points on aggression, damage, strategy, and control. Here it all started with Mortis landing several hits on Jellyfish with the axe before Mortis got his axe sliced off by the grabber of Jellyfish. He now had to use the lifter for the remainder of the match, but gets a couple of flips in on Jellyfish with the lifter. This is a pretty close fight. Whoever the judges pick, it's not going to be an easy pick to make. Boy, I wasn't joking when I said the judges weren't going to have an easy pick with this one. Both of these bots fought very aggressively and very valiantly, but only one can go through to round 2. And so, after a long while, the judges have finally made a decision using the 4 criteria, and it is a split decision, 2-1. The winner, advancing to round 2, is Mortis! Yes, Mortis had won it by a very slim margin, and Jellyfish's hopes and dreams are now adrift. Mortis is heading through to round 2, and next up, we got Exterminator ready to face Stinger.
From Belmont in Herefordshire, Exterminator.
Returning after losing in round 1 to Chaos 2 last season, Exterminator is back with that deadly axe paired with that sinister plow. But this is a brand new build it has never fought before. Let's see if Exterminator can finally get a win under its belt with this new design.
From Bramston in Lincoln, Stinger.
A 2-wheel driven mace that has taken out Roadblock last season before losing in round 2 to Typhoon II, Stinger is hoping to go one step further this time around if he can keep those wheels protected at all costs and if he can do the best he can with his limited weaponry.
Robotiers, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
So, let's begin the latter half of round 1 as Exterminator chases after Stinger, who's looking to go into thwack mode, but Exterminator lands 2 hits on Stinger, who spins out of it and goes in for an attack and gets a little hit there, but not before taking a couple of direct hits on the chassis by that devastating axe of Exterminator. Stinger with a glancing blow on the side of Exterminator's plow as Exterminator gets another direct hit on Stinger, landing a hit on the shaft of his mace as Exterminator bumps into the pit release button. Both robots are now in the corner patrol zone as Exterminator gets a hit on the wheel of Stinger. Stinger running away, running into an angle grinder, and Exterminator's right there to pin him into the arena sidewall. Stinger with a nice hit on the side of Exterminator and one on the other side as well. Stinger starting to make a counterattack here as he lands a couple of hits on both sides of Exterminator. Exterminator coming in with the axe, swing and a miss. Stinger with another nice hit on the side of Exterminator, and Exterminator stopped moving for a moment there. I wonder why. Exterminator with another swing and a miss as Stinger gets a little hit on the side and another hit there on the plow of Exterminator. And there goes the axe of Exterminator. Stinger going into thwack mode again, gets a nice hit there. Perfect timing, coming into contact with the axe of Exterminator and breaking it off completely. Exterminator is now left with that plow, and Stinger is now landing some more hits on Exterminator. He's got the lead in damage as he had taken off Exterminator's primary weapon. Exterminator pushing Stinger over the arena flame jet and angle grinder as Stinger, whoa, what the hell is going on there? Stinger going out of control like a mad whirling dervish. Stinger going into thwack mode, and for some odd reason he started freaking the heck out. Hopefully that won't happen ever again. And as I said that, it happens again. Me and my big mouth. But of course, I have to talk over these fights because I am the commentator, you know. It's my job. Although I'm not getting paid for this. Sad face. Anyway, Exterminator is now back in on the attack, pushing Stinger around, trying to hinder his mobility. As Stinger is trying to land some more hits on Exterminator. Could he perhaps take that plow off as well? Exterminator bumping into Stinger, trying to play defense. He does not want to risk taking any more damage, not after losing his primary weapon. Both robots driving over the arena flipper. Be careful, Stinger. You do not want to be on the flipper because if it goes off and you're still on there, you could end up going out of the arena. We saw that happen a few heats ago with Aftershock during his battle in the heat final against Storm 2. Exterminator back in on the attack with a plow, absorbing the hits of Stinger's mace, pushing Stinger back on the arena flipper. Exterminator, he got to be careful not to be on the flipper himself, because if he gets turned over, he might not be able to right himself. I saw something go flying out of the arena. Not sure what that was. Exterminator Coming in with the plow, and the plow goes off just as I thought it would. Stinger landing another hit with the mace and breaks off Exterminator's other weapon. I saw that coming a mile away. Exterminator now weaponless. As we wind down the remaining seconds of this match, it's going to go to the judges, and I think it's pretty clear who the victor is, but the judges will have to make it official. And so, the judges will be awarding points based on aggression, damage, strategy, and control. Exterminator had a strong start, getting a few direct hits on Stinger with the axe, but Stinger was able to fight back, getting some hits on Exterminator with the mace, and I think everything started going downhill in this moment right here, when Stinger snapped Exterminator's axe right off. And then for some odd reason, Stinger just started glitching around. I'm not sure what that was all about, but it all ended with Stinger taking off Exterminator's plow. Let's see what the judges will say. Well, the judges wasted no time making their decision, and I shall waste no time announcing the winner. They gone with Stinger, of course. Exterminator had taken a lot of damage, lost both of his weapons, and is still yet to win a fight. I'm pretty sure next season he'll have to enter the spinner instead of the axe. But regardless, Stinger wins and is going through to round 2. And last up for round 1, we got Typhoon II against Atomic.
From Edinburgh in Scotland, the number 6 seed, Typhoon II.
Typhoon II had the number 6 seed after losing the Heat Final stage to Storm 2 last season, but he has earned himself a wild card, only to lose to Storm 2 again, along with Can Opener. He's got those deadly spinning spikes, one of the deadliest weapons in the tournament. This is one that's not to be messed with.
From Arley in Worcestershire, Atomic.
Atomic had a bit of bad luck last season after losing in round 1 to Carbide. He's got the flipper at the front and the pneumatic spike at the rear. But this is the same version of Atomic that fought last season. Will he regret entering Season 2 without making any changes?
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
We got ourselves a rematch of a Robot Wars Series 7 semifinals match as Atomic gets under and flipped Typhoon II straight away, flipping him over on the arena flame grill. Typhoon II does not have a self-righting mechanism, but let's see if he can use that flag on top to pop himself back onto his wheels. Typhoon II sort of breakdancing on the flame grill. It looks cool, but it's not something he should be doing, not at this time and place. He's got to get back on his wheels or else he could end up being counted out, and this could be another case of a seated machine going out in the first round of the tournament. Atomic celebrating with the victory dance, and Typhoon II is immobilized and unable to get back on his feet. Atomic trying to throw him out of the arena, but breaks his flipper instead. Wah, wah. Well, so much for cheering on for your brother, PP3D. Typhoon II has also fallen in the first round. This is the second time this season that a seated machine has fallen in round 1. Atomic will be going through to round 2 with Stinger, Mortis, and Terahertz. And here's how they are set for round 2, with Stinger being drawn up against Atomic. But up first, we got ourselves an axe attack featuring Terahertz and Mortis.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
So, are we going to have a true axe attack between these two machines? Or will Mortis be a cop-out and use that lifter on Terahertz? Well, that answers my question right there. Mortis getting underneath Terahertz and using that flipping arm to overturn his opponent. Terahertz was able to remain right side up as he continues swinging away at Mortis. Mortis swinging back with his own axe as both robots are clashing weapon to weapon, chipping away at each other's armor. Mortis' weapon has a much shorter reach than Terahertz's axe, and Terahertz just took off the lifting arm of Mortis, making this a true axe attack as Mortis has lost his lifting arm, now looking more like his Series 1 and 2 self. Both robots continuing to swing away at each other as Terahertz, the two axes locked up together for just a second as Terahertz retreat to line up for another attack. Both robots striking each other simultaneously as Terahertz continues to slam away on the top of Mortis, causing more damage. Mortis is now smoking. He could be in major trouble here. Terahertz continuing to smash away at the top armor of Mortis. Mortis trying to swing back, but the reach of his axe is not all that great as Terahertz is continuing to cause more damage to his opponent. Could Terahertz land the finishing blow? Will Mortis be able to survive? And the answer is no, he cannot. Terahertz lands the killing blow on Mortis, finishing him off and securing himself a place in the Heat I Final. Well done, Terahertz. Well, Mortis is now left mortified as Terahertz has earned himself a spot in the Heat Final, where he shall await the winner of our next match. Will it be Stinger with that mace, or will it be the flipper of Atomic? There's only one way to find out.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
What can Atomic do against Stinger here? Because Stinger is basically one of those robots that's virtually impossible to flip over. Stinger getting a couple of nice hits there on the side of Atomic, swinging away with that mace. Atomic is looking to throw Stinger out of the arena perhaps. That could guarantee him a spot in the Heat Final if he's able to accomplish that. Atomic chasing after Stinger, but ends up taking a hit on the side by Stinger, who swings around with that mace and lands a direct hit on the side of his opponent. Atomic now going in with that flipper. Stinger trying to drive away, but Atomic popped him up in the air with the flipper, not once but twice. Got him up against an angle grinder, and he got in position to try to throw him out of the arena. And Atomic is not able to do so, but look at this. Stinger lands a direct hit right on the top of Atomic as he is being pinned up against the arena sidewall. Atomic now reversing into Stinger, probably looking to use that pneumatic spike. Someone lost a piece right there. Who'd that come off of? That was probably a piece of Stinger's mace, I reckon. Atomic reversing into Stinger, looking to cause some damage with that pneumatic spike. Maybe take off pieces of the mace, or perhaps go for those big exposed tires on Stinger. Both robots now in the corner patrol zone as Stinger lost a piece of his mace. Atomic going in with a pneumatic spike and breaks off a large chunk of Stinger's armament. And now Atomic is going after those big wheels of Stinger. Atomic got Stinger pinned against the wall again, but only momentarily. Stinger drives away as Atomic is still reversing into Stinger, causing more damage with that spike. Stinger coming in on the attack as a nice hit on the rear of Atomic right there. Atomic now turning back around to go after Stinger with a flipper once more. Maybe go for another attempt to throw Stinger out of the arena? Who knows? Stinger back in on the attack. Both robots landing a couple more hits on each other. Atomic causing more damage with that rear spike as Stinger goes in for another attack on the side with his mace. Atomic going in for those tires of Stinger again. Could he perhaps take off a wheel of Stinger and really hinder his mobility as another piece came off of someone right there? Was that a piece of Stinger's mace? Let's have a look. And yes, it was. Stinger lost another piece of his weapon, and he could be in trouble if he loses more pieces of his mace. Atomic looking to break off the rest of Stinger's weapon and render him useless. Stinger on the razor's edge here as he's trying to keep Atomic at bay, try to create more damage on Atomic with what's left of his mace. Atomic still firing away with that spike, causing additional damage to the wheels and weapon of Stinger. Stinger getting a nice hit there on the side of Atomic right there. This is a really tight battle so far. Both robots causing some significant damage to each other. Should this go the distance, the judges might have a hard time picking the winner, and it looks like it is going to go the distance as we wind down the remaining seconds of the match, and Stinger just lost the remainder of his mace as time has expired. It's going to go to the judges. What a brilliant fight that was. Both robots fought very aggressively. Stinger starting off strong with a couple of nice hits on the side and top of Atomic. Atomic couldn't really do much against Stinger with a flipper, so he went ahead and used plan B, which was that rear spike, and that seemed to work well in his favor, breaking off pieces of Stinger's mace. Who will the judges pick between these two? And the judges have come up with their final verdict using the 4 criteria: aggression, damage, strategy, and control. Both robots fought really well, but only one will have the honor and the privilege to continue forth into the competition. And because of the fact that Stinger lost his weapon, or the majority of it at least, the judges have gone for Atomic, as Stinger has lost the sting of his tail, literally, and is out of the contest. Atomic will be moving forth to the Heat I Final, where he shall face the atrocious axe of Terahertz. Back over to you, Nick.
Thank you, Rich. It is almost time for the Heat I Final between Terahertz and Atomic. Two bots here that, I don't know, they've shown their shakiness at times. Atomic, those look great so far in this tournament, taking out the number 6 seed Typhoon II along the way. Wasn't the first round upset we saw from a seeded machine. Of course, Dan Tomkia took out Fluffy back in Heat E, and it's not the only time we've seen the seeded bots struggle. And this tournament has been pretty unpredictable so far. I especially would not have predicted Terahertz to have gotten to this current state. This build actually is under scrutiny. I'm thinking that this is its last chance to prove it has what it takes. So far, it's gotten 2 pretty good wins against Mortis and PP3D, and he looks like he's capable of doing it again. We've seen him snipe weapons in the previous 2 matches, and Atomic has a snipeable weapon. So if you ask me, I think Terahertz might be able to sneak this result, despite the odds being against him, despite him being up against a better flipper than what he just went up against in Mortis in the second round. But Rich, what do you think? Who's going to win Heat I?
Alright, we got Terahertz and Atomic in the Heat Final, and I'm sure a lot of people expected Typhoon II to be here, but he had to fall in the first round at the hands of Atomic, who, may I remind you, fell in the first round last season to Carbide. So already Atomic has improved over his performance from last season. Can he go one step further and win this heat? It all depends on whether he can get a good flip on Terahertz, because Terahertz cannot self-right very well with that axe. I mean, don't get me wrong, the axe has a lot of power. He's able to dish out a ton of damage, as we saw in his bouts against PP3D and Mortis. But if he gets turned over, he's going to struggle self-righting. But on the other hand, Terahertz could break off the flipper of Atomic and claim the heat to his own. But I'm pretty sure that Atomic will have the luck that he needs to overturn Terahertz and win this heat. So my money is on the flipper to beat the axe. So, with all that said, let's fire up our penultimate Heat Final.
Terahertz. Atomic.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
So, we got 2 robots that both made the semifinals of Robot Wars IRL, as Atomic has overturned Terahertz straight away. Can Terahertz use that axe to right himself? Atomic nudging Terahertz toward the drop zone after this initial attack, using the flipper to toss Terahertz up in the air and upside down. Terahertz struggling to self-right. He is now in the drop zone. Can he get back over before the drop zone activates? No, he cannot. Terahertz has been pelted by bowling balls and is now smoking as Atomic bumps into the pit release button and is now going back after Terahertz, who is badly wounded after being hit by the bowling balls after spending too much time in the drop zone, and Terahertz is now back on his back after that attack by Atomic. Terahertz is up against the ropes here as he is struggling to stay in the match, struggling to get back on his wheels. Atomic is now nudging Terahertz toward the arena flipper. Terahertz back on his wheels, but Atomic says, no, you don't. You stay on your head, my good sir. Terahertz is now on the arena flipper. Up, and away. What a way to finish this match. Terahertz getting flung up in the air by the arena flipper and lands out of the arena. Atomic has won tonight's heat and is now through to the series semifinals.
Cease.
Well, I'm pretty sure Terahertz is now terrorized by Atomic after that match. Atomic has won tonight's heat after taking out the number 6 seed in round 1 and remaining undefeated. He now ventures forth into the series semifinals as we have just one heat remaining before the semifinals will take place. What can we expect in the remaining heat, Nick? Did we save the best for last?
Thanks, Rich. So there you go, folks. Heat I has been won by the flipper Atomic after starting off wonderfully with the upset victory over the 6th seed Typhoon II. Well, he continued the momentum. Now he's got himself a Heat final victory. Commiserations, of course, to Terahertz. How do you guys think he fares in the battle for the wildcard spots? I mean, he did have 2 impressive victories, but was his strength of schedule good enough? How did he do in the Heat final? These are all factors besides just being a losing Heat finalist. You gotta have a lot going for you. If I'm being honest, I think Terahertz might be in trouble, but we won't know until that last runner-up is decided and we can look at all 10 wildcard hopefuls together. But that is all for this episode. We'll see you next week for the last Heat of this season, Heat J. Did we save the best for last? Of course we did, because Granny's Revenge will be involved. That's totally who you want to see. For all of us here, I am the Barango. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.